Hey everyone, it's me Doomlink and welcome back to Doomlink's Random Hunts. It's been a little while since I've said that, and it's been a very long time since I was last in Portable Third, or at the very least, it does feel that way. When I was recording live in the older games somewhat recently, the games that I recorded were Freedom Unite and Freedom 1. I actually didn't bother with Portable Third at all, and there's a reason why. But anyway, I just wanted to do a quick introduction here to say hello and welcome. I will probably pick up, well, I definitely will pick up again once I do have a group of 4 and we are ready to hunt Amatsumagatsuchi. Seems like an appropriate hunt to do if we're playing Portable Third. Of course, Amatsu is the final boss of this game, first appeared in this game, so yeah, why the hell not? I just noticed that I don't really have pants. I do have pants, it's just they're very short. But anyway, I don't know why I'm only now noticing this, but this is my light bowgun set for Element. And again, I've talked about this before, but it's very annoying for me, or to me, that in the fan translation it says Element Attack +1, because of course it implies that there's more than Attack +1, but no, it's only a single level elemental boost, so it should just be elemental or element attack up, as opposed to +1. So yeah, that does bother me, and I've talked about that before, but I'm not going to get into that too much. Once we are ready to go and hunt, I will... Oh great, this guy needs to leave the room, obviously. I will kick him if he doesn't leave on his own. But yeah, just so that I can take some time to communicate with these guys before we go off on the hunt, and so that I can also get ready for the quest myself, I will disappear momentarily, and I will be with you guys once again when we are ready to depart on the quest. I'll see you then. I don't know why, but I'm having a real problem with my inventory right now. I just feel like I don't have enough space, and you know, I don't want to get rid of my whetstones, because if I do that, I'm going to forget to put them back in. So I guess I'll put away... pickaxe? Yeah, okay. God, it's so awkward. Also, I probably should go and top up my max potions. There we go, I'm just ensuring that I have 100% combination rate for fire shots. Honestly, I should only need fire shots for combinations, because outside of that I do have Pierce level 2 and normal level 2 to be shooting. So, yeah, I do definitely think that should be plenty of ammunition for this hunt, unless we're really doing terribly. I will be going for attack at large. Would I prefer... Well, I'll work out what I'd like. I guess we'll go for sharpshooter in case I need to shoot normal level 2. And yeah, I think we're almost going to be ready to go. I'm not sure what's happening with Enzo. He's not really that, how do I say, responsive? Yeah. He's got a lot of skills though. How did he end up with 2 negative skills? One of them must be from the talisman that he has. That's unbelievable. I mean, the skills that he does have are pretty good altogether, I will admit, but geez. Recovery speed -1 and demonic blessings pretty bad. I would say that almost counterbalances, in a bad way, the benefits of his positive skills. Or maybe not. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. But it's not a very attractive set. You could say that it's attractive on the basis that it has lots of skills, but 2 negative skills is a pretty rough deal. Anyway, I'm just going to make sure that there's no one else coming, or that that guy's not coming back, and then once I've confirmed that, we will get moving on this hunt. Alright, and we are ready to go. Let's go and hunt this Amatsu, and I'm going to get this keyboard off my lap because it's bloody uncomfortable. Oh dear. Because it's not live, I can cut out the sound of it falling on the ground. I will actually skip this because... quite frank, well, I mean, maybe the team won't skip it, or at least one guy on the team's not going to skip it. I was going to say that you probably don't need to see this. But maybe it's worth watching and seeing if no one's going to skip it. It always annoys people, though, when someone doesn't skip. Alrighty, so I'm quite sure the box is empty. I'm going to go and head into the main area for those who only have experienced Amatsumagatsuchi in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and I think Generations as well. It is essentially the same confrontation. There are no noticeable differences that I can think of. Don't know why Amatsu is just staying still. That's never a good sign. I don't like it when that happens because I'm always expecting some kind of disconnect. Not usually on my part, but, you know, some other person will have disconnected and the monster is struggling to connect to the team as a result. You know, that often happens, but it didn't happen this time. It didn't seem like that was actually going to happen because only 2 of us were engaging the monsters, so... yeah, I'm glad that didn't eventuate. That would have been an awful start to the hunt. But yeah, I haven't actually gone Elemental Light Bowgun against Amatsu in a long time. It's a strange feeling, actually. And I have to tell you that just playing on Portable Third or playing in Portable Third, depends on how you want to phrase it, doesn't matter too much. But just playing in Portable Third almost feels unnatural at the moment for me. I think it's more to do with the setup. You know, I'm on my PC playing Monster Hunter, usually I'm on a console and my TV's kind of far away, but here I'm full screen and the screen's kind of close to me and it just feels a little weird, so I just have to get used to that. I'm also not really used to doing non-live recordings. It's a strange feeling. It's nice. It's like coming home after being away for a long time to do non-live recordings, because that's the way I always did things, obviously. But, yeah. The reason why I'm doing this is because I just don't like recording the Hunsterverse games, or the games that I play on Hunsterverse with, while live. It doesn't really work for me. I'm sure I will do it in the future more, but until I can get a system that feels a little more comfortable, I just won't bother. I'll keep it to Doomlink's random hunts only. And it's good, because in the end, Doomlink's random hunts has a reason to continue existing. Because as you know, Doomlink's live hunts has very nearly replaced it. I'm just reloading here so that I can shoot as much as I can here during this animation. Can we please cancel it? Am I the only one fucking hitting this thing? Thank God, that was really close. Another second or two and we would have gotten slammed. Fortunately, I did have YDA helping me out there. He was the only other guy helping me out. If either of us had decided to just stop attacking, someone would have died there. And it probably would have been me, because I've got gun of defense. But yeah, that particular attack is really nasty. Either everyone commits or everyone gets the fuck out of there. You can't have one or the other, because failure will ensue. Well, not actual quest failure, I just mean, you know, someone's gonna die, there's gonna be people getting hurt, it's not going to be nice. And I'm sure those of you who have fought Amatsu can attest to that fact. But yeah, it feels great to actually use this set as well, because this is very unique to Portable Third, you know, using the Amatsu light bow gun for element. It's a very Portable Third thing. Whereas in the case of, you know, guns such as the Absolute Bowgun, I use that in 4 Ultimate, Generations Ultimate, and Freedom Unite. So that's not as exciting as this. The more variety you can get, the better when it comes to going back and forth between Monster Hunter games. I try to, where I can, avoid using the same weapons as well, but there are some exceptions to that. For example, the gold and silver dual blades. Those are just generally the best fire dual blades that you can get, so I just find myself using those in most of the games, but I think there are, I think 3 Ultimate might be the only game where I don't use those, because I can use the Morales weapon design, and I love the Morales weapon designs. Can we please, please, please? Like, why are there only 2 people attacking this fucking thing when he does that? It puts me in a really awkward situation. I don't want to abandon YDA, who's using the greatsword, and I don't know what it is. Maybe they just don't. They either don't know how to fight Amatsu, or they're too scared to go in and attack, but you know, that's not really playing as a team. That's, at least not in my opinion. I don't like that sort of play against Amatsu. It doesn't feel right. I think everyone needs to jump in and do their bit. So after that experience, what I'm going to do is just not attack when he does that. I just won't be doing it. I'll be getting the hell out of there, because apparently I'm going to suffer if I try to attack. It's a bad idea. But yeah, of course, this confrontation was really the closest that you could get to underwater combat in Monster Hunter Portable Third, because this is essentially an underwater animation for Amatsu, but of course he's flying instead of actually being underwater. There are no underwater confrontations here, and quite frankly, I wasn't too surprised at the time. that this game didn't have underwater combat, and the reason why was because I had very much felt, yeah, see, YDA's doing the same thing. I don't know why he's rolling, though. That's a bad call, my friend. Don't know about that. You doing alright over there? Oh, he rolled through the fucking thing. That's impressive. But anyway, referring to underwater combat, I had no real doubt in my mind that underwater combat was here to stay. It wasn't until 4th generation that we came to realize that underwater combat was going to be, if not left behind, then at least not a consistent mainstay in the series. But when Portable 3rd came out, and it didn't have underwater combat like Tri did, that didn't really strike me as odd. The first reason why it didn't was because it was on the PSP, and Tri was on the Wii. Very, very different systems. And you can also see that a lot of the assets in this game are taken from the older PSP games, in other words, 2nd generation Monster Hunter. So I felt that it was natural for this game to not have underwater combat. On top of that, it was also in production around the same time as Monster Hunter Tri. So therefore, I couldn't expect it to have all the features that Monster Hunter Tri had. So again, just because there was no underwater combat in Portable 3rd, I didn't go and decide, oh, I guess underwater combat's just a Tri thing. But it turned out to sort of be that way. The only other game that had underwater combat was the G-Rank Tri, which was Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. And I kind of like that, because I'm not a huge fan of underwater combat. Not many people are. But the funny thing is, I can tolerate it, provided it's only in 2 games. I don't really like it, but there is a certain adventurousness to it. Well, maybe not adventurousness, I don't even like that word, I don't think it is a word, but the point is that it's, there's something immersive about being able to walk up to a body of water and just jump into it and swim, and explore the underwater area, and fight monsters in there. It's enjoyable in that sense, in concept. I guess it's one of those things that's more fun in concept than as a game mechanic, which is a problem, you know. Generally you want things that work well as both game mechanics and concepts. But I would say underwater combat would be one of those things that really doesn't work when put into practice. And I've said this many, many times before, I don't think Capcom could have done underwater combat any better, you know. That was one of the things that really pissed me off about people's complaints about underwater combat. Most of those complaints seemed predicated on the fact that Capcom hadn't done it right, or they could have done better. I don't believe for 1 second that they could have done better. I think considering the fact that they basically nailed it in Tri, they did a very good job. I mean, first time, essentially. They decided to have underwater combat and they nailed it. The problem was the concept. Of course, when you're underwater, you're not going to be able to move on land in the same ways you can underwater. So, what does that entail? You'll be moving slower, your weapons will be moving slower. Also, if you're fighting a monster underwater, what does that entail in terms of the monster's ability to move underwater? Well, if it's an underwater monster, it's probably pretty comfortable underwater. And obviously you're not going to be comfortable underwater. Now I suppose the alternative there is to devise some kind of special underwater armor set that allows you to move with the exact same mobility that you would on land or something. I'm sure that they could make it work if they really tried, but I don't think that would work in concept. I don't like the concept of having some weird armor set that allows me to move perfectly fine underwater in such a way as to, you know, have no loss of mobility or anything like that. It just doesn't work for me. I think in the end, it was more than what Capcom was willing to deal with, and so they just put it to bed. They tried it out, decided that it wasn't really appropriate, and moved on. But I very much enjoyed the fact that it is unique to Monster Hunter Tri and 3 Ultimate, because it means that those 2 games have more value when you go back and play them. That's what I'm always looking for. I'm looking for value in, or rather, I'm looking for incentive when it comes to returning to the older games. Like, what am I going to get out of returning to this older game? There's less and less of that when Capcom chooses to bring all these monsters back, and, you know, you're looking at the same weapons across all the games, you're looking at the same monsters across all the games. So, the more uniqueness there is in the older games, the better they are going to be to return to. And I would say that when it comes to the older games, 3rd generation is probably the best, because there is a lot more in 3rd generation that is unique and can't be seen or experienced in the newer games. So I very much enjoy 3rd generation for that reason. In fact, that point, interestingly enough, does not even factor into my explanation as to why Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate is my favourite Monster Hunter game. But that's a very good point also. It is probably the most unique in the context of modern day Monster Hunter. When I say in the context of, I mean based on the fact that we've had 4th generation and 5th generation bringing back so many monsters and so many weapon types, or weapon designs I should say, and essentially eroding the uniqueness of the older games. And yeah, I would say that 3 Ultimate particularly stands up strong as its own game. So there you go, that's my opinion, and not everyone agrees with that. Here we go, Divine Dragon Gem, that is my 2nd, apparently. I have used a number of them. I think mostly for armor pieces, not so much weapons. Again, I only use the Amatsu light bowgun in this game, I think. The Amatsu weapons are quite good in Portable 3rd, but I don't think I really use them. I think it's mostly just the light bowgun, yeah. And then the rest, just armor pieces, or the rest of the rare items would have been used for armor pieces. Anyway, I'm not sure what the next hunt is going to be. I'd like to do another one, but I've got no idea what's happening with that, so I will see you in the next hunt, I suppose, and I will let you know what we're hunting at that time. Alrighty, so we're going to be doing some more Amatsu, what joy. I decided to use a bit of a different setup here. And I will mention that Critical Eye +1 is not actually going to do anything for my elemental shots specifically. It's only going to work for when I move to a different shot type later on in the hunt, which is a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, elemental crit was not some kind of changing of the way critical attacks worked. It literally was the first time that you could get increased elemental damage from a critical attack. That's the idea. Regular critical attacks do not multiply your elemental output, only your physical output. That's the way it's always been, unfortunately. So it's not really the best skill for an elemental set, but here we are anyway. So we're doing another Amatsu for the reason that these guys want more Amatsu, and I have no real options outside of this. And also those guys are wanting me to host specifically. It works well, because I want to be the host when I'm recording, so that the hunt goes smoothly. By the way, this is the first appearance of Crouchfire. It was originally called Siege Mode, and I think there was another word for it. I can't quite remember it right now, but the two terms were Siege Mode and something else. Crouchfire didn't really come about, I don't think, until 3 Ultimate, when an official translation for the Crouchfire was brought about. I think Siege Mode might be the translation from Japanese. So I honestly think Siege Mode is better than Crouchfire. Siege Mode sounds a little more stylistic, you know, it sounds like someone's actually put some thought into it, whereas Crouching Fire doesn't sound very inspired at all. I don't know. But anyway, I'm here with an armor set, or not just armor set, but a set in general, that really doesn't work as well on the later games. Unfortunately, the bowgun shields are not as effective in later games as they are here in 3rd generation. Which is a little unfortunate, but again, it means that I can use a set like this in this game for a bit of variety, and ultimately get more enjoyment out of my experience because I'm doing something a little different. But yeah, I didn't actually finish with that thought that I was touching on before, and that was that this is the first appearance of Crouchfire. The reason why I wanted to mention that is because that accounts for the lack of visibility when... oh god, that was nasty timing on the... I'm sorry, Moustache, I'm not attacking. But anyway, that tunnel vision, that scoped vision with... whatever it is, Siege Fire, siege mode, crouch fire, depends on what I'd like to call it. You know what it is anyway. Is only present in this game, and it was something that they decided to do for the first crouch firing game. I don't know why they chose to do it. I think part of the reason was they wanted to balance it in some way, and having limited visibility was one of the ways in which they chose to balance it. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea. I think that's pretty creative. I'm just shielding this roar here. Need to go and combine the rest of my flaming shots. Uh-oh. I think I'm kind of at risk here. Let's just shield this. Oh no, I need guard up for that. Now I do believe that no, guard up doesn't work with bowgun shields. That's right. Because then they'd be too overpowered, I think. I would assume that is the logic anyway. Oh god, I don't like the way you're moving, my friend. You were aiming at me, and yet you were so off target that I would have ended up evading straight into you, had I not so clearly seen that you were not aiming at me properly. Trying to... Oh, god, that's nasty. Alright, let's get the hell out of there. Of course, this is the first appearance of Quick Sheath as a skill also, I do have that. So really, this is a very cutting-edge set that I have right here in Portable Third. It's making use of Crouching Fire as well as Quick Sheath. So, oh, here we go. That just goes to show that I've been playing too much 4th gen. I was expecting to automatically climb up on that thing. Okay, let's try and get in position here. Of course, Amatsu's moving around quite a lot, so it's a bit awkward to use siege mode here. Here we go. I'm getting the hell out of there. I've learnt my lesson. It's a bad idea to stay in attack, because no one wants to commit. So we are all equally staying the hell away. It is generally worthwhile for the team to just go in and attack, because what happens is Amatsu falls to the ground, and that's an opportunity for the team to hit her. So I don't know why no one wants to do it. They're just afraid. Bunch of chickens is what they are. But it is what it is. As long as we've established that... Oh, hello. It seemed like the flash actually triggered the second half of the confrontation. Flash bombs deal damage, everyone. But, yeah, confirmed. Confirmed. Prove it otherwise. Or prove me wrong. Of course, I'm joking. But, you know, you have to say that for some people. They don't know you're joking. But, what was I saying again? Yeah, as long as we all are doing the same thing, in other words, getting the hell away, it's better than, you know, some of us attacking and then some of us not. So, I'm fine with that in the end. I'm not sure if this is a better hunt than before. I feel like we reached this mode faster this time around. Let's get out of there. I have to run real far. Hey, nice work. That was a fluke, pure fluke, because we know these guys don't want to attack in this situation, but they'd rather run, but fortunately, he ended up falling down really fast. Now, I don't think I'll have Sharpshooter this time, do I? No. So I guess I'll use Pierce level 2. I might be able to shoot Pierce level 3 with this gun, but I don't have Pierce level 3. Yeah, I can shoot Pierce level 3, that would have been better. But maybe the recoil would be too high, or the reload too slow, something like that. Yeah, the recoil's pretty high even on Pierce level 2, so definitely it is a good thing that well, not necessarily a good thing that I didn't bring Pierce level 3, but I would say that Pierce level 2 is probably the better choice here for DPS. Now, this particular set is not really designed to be used against monster, like a single monster with a single elemental weakness. Now, technically, Amatsu has 2 elemental weaknesses, but one of those is Dragon, which isn't as good for bowguns, especially not for a set like this. You can't exactly crouch fire dragon shots. So, yeah. This gun is mainly to be used in multiple monsters. Let's rephrase that. This should be used in multi-monster quests, where, let's say, you've got 2 monsters, one is weak to water, one is weak to fire, and then you can just, you know, not worry so much about running out of ammunition, but you will be elementally effective against both monsters. Of course, something with rapid fire will usually see your shots go further, and for longer. Well, that's the same meaning. They will go further, and therefore you probably won't run out of ammunition. Or at the very least you are less liable to run out of ammunition. But with something like this, as you can see, I'm moving into Pierce kind of early on, which is not the best, but whatever. I'd rather be doing this than going Blade Master on Amatsu. I'm just not a fan of that. I'd much rather gun. I was really considering going Heavy Pierce, like an actual non-elemental Pierce heavy bow gun build, or set. Was intending on using that for this confrontation, but I decided not to. I thought that this would be a little more fun. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. You can't be inconsistent on this front. See, look at this. I mean, you can't blame me for that. Because it's literally you two that have led me to stay away. It was you two who didn't want to attack in the past. Really annoying. And they've both died as a result of their own foolishness, really. They were the ones who created that situation. They both chose to attack even though they had set themselves a protocol of running the hell away. And they broke the protocol. Well, they didn't employ the protocol anyway. I'm just going to shield the... Oh, no. I will say that sometimes when Amatsu does the rush forward attack, it's not quite obvious where exactly he's going. It's kind of awful. You want to know what would be really awful, though? Failing this fucking quest. That would be really awful. Now, I'll try not to talk about this every single time, I will briefly mention it, but you can hear, probably, that the sound effects for the Pierce shots here are pathetic. Just pathetic. The worst Pierce shot sound effect in the series. It sounds more like a normal shot than a Pierce shot. There is no sonic feedback, really. There's no satisfaction. There's just empty, dead, awful. So Pierce gunning in this game, not all that fun. Unless you just don't play with sound anyway. If you never play with sound, then it's not going to affect you. But I do play with sound, therefore I notice when it sounds fucking awful. And that's exactly how it sounds in this game. Don't know what happened. I'd love to talk to someone about that. Why does it sound the way it sounds? Was it intended? Was it a glitch? If it was intentional, then what the hell were they trying to achieve by doing that? I don't know. I said that I wouldn't stay on this topic, and yet here I am, going kind of in depth. Alright, we've hit that final health threshold there. I did restock on a Farcaster. Now, if we fucking fail this hunt, in this moment, I'm going to be pissed off. Yep. I mean, I could have fucking guessed, seriously. That entire situation, that entire quest failure, was a result of the foolishness of those two hunters. Because they both chose, even though they didn't have to. In fact, against all sensible procedure, they decided to attack the Amatsu in that animation, and were both killed as a result. And then, you know, unsurprisingly, one death left, and we've got that final water beam attack, and someone dies. So, really, not a fucking surprise at all. I was surprised no one died last time to that attack. But this time someone did die, and lo and behold, final death, failed hunt, and ultimately that was a waste of time. Especially considering that that was like a 11-minute hunt at least. And, yeah. Didn't get anything out of it. Unfortunate, but that's the way it is. That's probably going to conclude my Doomlink's Random Hunts recording for Portable Third this time around. I apologise that we couldn't have 2 successful hunts, but we can't have everything in life, can we? Either way, I do thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys when I'm next recording Doomlink's Random Hunts. Bye bye for now.